G'day everyone, welcome along. Steel Horse here. Welcome to Steel Horse Station. Hope you have all had a great weekend and that the week's got underway for you in reasonable shape. It is just coming on to 7:30 on Monday afternoon here in Melbourne, Australia. Got a couple of people watching, so thank you very much for joining me. And today we are heading to CastleNaud. I think that's how you say it. My French is not particularly good. In fact, it's downright abysmal, but it will have to do. So let's not mess about. I don't think I've got anything special to talk to, so we'll jump straight across and see where it takes us. So my introduction to this map was pretty much limited to, I watched the map tour that Farm Sim Guy did, and I put the link to that in the description. It's certainly worth looking at if you want to get a tool. We might cover most of that through the course of the next couple of hours, but if you want to look around the map and various features, then that's as good a way to get it done quickly as I think you're going to find. My French is not up to translating this at all, other than to say that it's in the Dordogne region. And I guess if I typed it into Google Translate, I could figure it out. Something about new farming somethings. But there you go. So we spawn in here at the castle. A really good example of some of the unique buildings that are on the map. All nicely decorated. And I have had a quick look around. This is the mini map. In addition to the usual train, there is also a barge that runs up the river. You can see the train just sort of skirting the bottom corner here. Or sorry, the top corner. It sort of comes in up here and skirts on the riverbank, and it's a French looking train. And then of course there's this barge deal which you can load up the top here and send goods off to, interestingly, Belleron is the so named accompanying map that you might want to sell to. So in terms of looking at the map, there's a main farm over here which has cows and other things, and there's another farm up here. They appear to be the two major farms set on the map. And so I thought, let's sort of flick the coin, as is usually the case for these sorts of tours. I've started in farm manager mode. And I decided farm manager gives us 1.5 million. So I've spent $1 million of that, and I've bought a bunch of fields and this farm on the side here. So we have a look. So we own the farm and the immediately adjacent fields, and then this selection of fields down here. And so the first interesting thing to note out of all of that is, that these fields aren't particularly expensive. So $1 million bought us, I don't know, a quarter of the map maybe. On here, the verges can be purchased, and they're quite extensive if you want to do anything with the riverbank and the in-between areas, some of which are forested. And you can get hold of that land for $0. I decided for the purpose of the exercise we didn't need that today, so I have steered away from that. But as you can see, It's the biggest field, I think, is probably going to be 124 at 151,000. 13's probably the largest, 6.5 hectares. 7 hectares. What's 43 work out at? 7 hectares. So all up around the 200,000 for 7 hectares or so. Interestingly, on farm manager mode, you do start with equipment, and the equipment is split between the 2 farmyards. So what I think we might do is jump across to one of the vehicles. There's a pickup over there. What have we got here? There's a tractor over there. Let's go and have a look at that. So this is the farm we don't own, and you start with some mowers and bits and pieces. So for our operation, we would have to move all this equipment across to our yard, assuming we want to keep it. There are collectibles on the map, and there is one right there. So shows you how. There it is. Little I use them. So 10,000. You got to find them all to access CastleNaud's secret. So that's the second one I've seen. The advantage or the thing that makes them a bit easier is they do have that green glow, so they are a bit easier to find. That looks like a production, probably the cheese factory, I'm guessing. Is it? It is the dairy, cheese dairy, so we don't own that. Can't do much with it unless we buy it. What is the purchase price? Can't buy it without the land, would be my guess. And as I felt we didn't need this farm, you can see it's well set up as a dairy operation. Couple of nice clamps, all custom buildings. So it looks pretty good. Slurry point right there. I like the ability to be able to fill these from the back and then drive straight onto the pile potentially. So, g'day John, welcome in. Great to have you with us. We are here on CastleNaud, and I'm just running around having a bit of a look. A spot to pick up your milk. Bit of a tailored custom cow barn there. Manure pit. And a field with cows in it. Pretty much extends to the area you would expect to run cows. So I like the... I know Farm Sim guy noted it in his review. It was kind of nice the way... Why can't I close that gate? Get closer maybe. Where's the trigger? Hello? Hello? Interesting. Ah, there we go. Trigger's attached to the gate. So, that's the cow farm. So what I intend to do, seeing we've got some equipment here, is to grab a hold of a couple of things. What do we need here? So the mowers will no doubt come in useful at some point. There's will a baleage farm. Well, let's just ferry some equipment. Oh, that's good to hear, John. This looks like a handy mower. Now across at the farm I've bought, we have some pigs. Oops, let's try and get out of there. Fairly tight. It's a pretty tight yard. There's some sheep there, so there's obviously sheep attached to this farm, and they're living around the little dam there. Now that sounds like a bit of work, John, but if it achieved the results, everything's probably running substantially better than you last remember. And welcome along whoever else has just popped in to join us. Now, one thing I did try and do, and I have got auto drive loaded here, because whilst my observation is if we try and send this guy, let's just send him to here, because I don't think he'll even get that far, but I'll explain why in a minute. Right, positions blocked or unreachable. So we'll drive down. There are traffic splines. Right. I think you mentioned that the other day. There are traffic splines, but I don't think they're all connected, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So if I turn on auto drive markers, and let's do a couple of things here. Line height above the tractor, show next path, yes. Show markers. Auto connect at the start, yes. Auto connect at the end. Driver's wages, put you down. Use folders, yes. Will apply. So if I now jump out and try and create a job. Or is it not? We'll find it in a minute. I've got to turn them back on by the looks. There we go. Now we might find them. There we go. So you can see on the mini map here, corner speed to 50. Thank you very much. You can see that it's given me the green line. So these are not, this is not a course I've recorded. This is what auto drives imported from the splines in the map. And you'll notice a couple of things about it. First of all, it doesn't perfectly line up with the roads on the minimap. So that tends to suggest that it's a little bit disconnected. And the other thing is, you can see here, there's all these gaps in it. So it's not a continuous route. Now that's not a bad thing. The roads here are really tight. It just means that in order to get reliable AI performance, you're going to want to record your own courses, or at least connect up those routes, which is why I had everything on. Let's just turn you on and see where you get to. I did drive one tractor down there, but we're going to head. So you can see the traffic and how narrow the roads are. This road's only set up as a single, which is fine until you try and bring a piece of equipment the other way and the traffic drives into you. You can see what the terrain's like. I thought it was wonderful. Nice to see some elevation changes. Scenery looks terrific. In the same sort of vein as Court Farms that we looked at last week. And to any of the new subscribers that might join us or might be watching, thank you very much for joining the channel. Yeah, so you can see here, I've joined this one on, but I haven't joined. Let's go around to that side. Can I get zoomed out far enough? Just. You need to go over there. That'll do for the minute. So as a result of FSG very kindly linking me in and linking the little tip I gave on Court Farms last week about the gates in a video he did during the week. The power of positive press has attracted a few more folks to the channel, which is very nice. So thank you again for doing that, and hopefully we can entertain you over the next little while. For any of the new folks, the normal sequence of streams is this time on a Monday evening Australian time, so Monday morning in the UK and very early in the US, and then in about another 10 hours time I do another stream. Tomorrow morning's my time will be on Newlands, so that'll be late evening in the UK, afternoon, Monday afternoon in the US, and Monday morning here. And then we do the same time slot on Friday morning, so for Thursday evening, just for if anybody's wondering what the streaming schedule is. Friday of this week we'll be back on the Oaks with the Putney family, but I thought today we'll do CastleNaud because I did enjoy it. Although we had a few challenges with it, I did enjoy Court Farms last week, and as I remarked in a short Discord exchange with FSG, I felt weirdly conflicted because as much as I was frustrated, I actually found it a really beautiful map, and I was disappointed that it was so hard to play. So yeah, you can see here where our lines don't lead up, so let's just join one of those on. We didn't want to auto connect you there, did we? That's as a result of the wrong setting. Here's auto connect. Auto connect at the start. That's the one I should have done. And then we want to go left alt. Now we'll try that again. That's better. We'll run round here. See if we can connect these on properly while we're here, so you can go over there. Hey Mark, welcome in, sir. You can probably help us with the pronunciation for the name of this map, because I've probably royally butchered it. What are we doing? And we're going to go from about there across to there. That'll do for the moment. Let's try turning you off. So, as you can see, this is the village in the main township on the map. Very typical. There's a bakery over here on the right hand side. What else have we got in terms of sell points around here? Quite a few. That's not where we are. Yes, it is. So the carpentry is back behind us. The bakery, restaurant. Looks like a supermarket, winery. There's a few different sell points down there. We might come and have a look at them later. We've created a bit of a traffic jam. Never mind. CastleNaud. Okay, cool. Thank you. Would that make it the North Castle? So this land that we've picked up here, I haven't had an inspiration for the backstory. A Danish castle maybe, as in that sort of Nords, as in Norse. We have a bunch of trees. So on the mini map here, you can see there's a bunch of different crops, and in this particular case they are the different trees. So there are 4 types of nut on the map, along with alfalfa, which makes for a little bit of interest. We have those, and my plan is the crop calendar for nuts has them harvested in October. So what I thought we'd do is a couple of our fields are ready to harvest now. So I was going to deal with those and then roll the clock forward, and we can come and have a go at harvesting a few of these. This map is one of the 2 required mods. Oh, okay, cool. I thought a chateau was a chateau. There you go. You learned something. It's an educational channel we have here. So I should have a look at all the equipment we've got. As I said, when we started on New Manager, we got a bunch of equipment. So we got a couple of little tractors, a couple of medium tractors, a harvester, a telehandler, a trailer, which, amongst other things, handles the nuts and the alfalfa products. I think we'll find that the way they've put these products on, all of the base game trailers will automatically handle them, which is good to see. So we've got a couple of headers. Whoops, no, we haven't. We have 1 header, plow, all the stuff you'd expect to see in a small starting operation. So, and the belt systems. Now, we'll just cover that while we're here, because the belt systems are up the top here at the co-op. So we can use the co-op to move product into the various bays for all the grains and products that are sold in the area. So that's up on the other side of the map, right up the top. Sorry, right up the top. I was pointing at the wrong spot. So as you can see, it's quite a fun little layout. And for now, we might leave that tractor and trailer there. Let's continue up to our farm. This looks like a distribution center of sorts. What have we got here? La Solidez Terroir. Now, I looked through the window of this place before, and it looked awfully like a bottle shop. Maybe a supermarket, but I thought bottle shop. So, sell point, whatever. But another example of that, really liked the buildings that were on here. We can turn you off for the moment. Traffic does hoot around. Hey, PVF. It is perfectly understandable that you would have to go to work. Some folks do that for a living. I used to, once. Meanwhile, when you retire, you get to play games for fun. So that's the dealership in there, I think. I haven't actually bought anything for the dealership. What does just do that to see where stuff spawns. One thing I know we're going to need to harvest those nuts a bit later on is not there. Where do I? Oh, they might be under front loader tools. Have a good one, PVF. Now, let's try and find front loader tools. Maybe not. Maybe telehandler. Nope. Why can I not see the nut pickers? Maybe they're under harvesters. Grape tech, sugar tech, beet tech. They're hiding in headers. No. Okay, that's got me stumped. I put a bunch of grape gear in just in case we did some grapes. They're not hiding at the end of harvesters. They're not there. I am stumped. Did I need to download them separately? Maybe I did. Loaders, telehandler tools. Huh. Interesting. We'll have to go find those a bit after. Not important for the moment. Let's head up to our farm. But if you've been fortunate enough to spend any time in the French countryside, this looks, to my eye at least, fairly typical. Was it not the top icon? Oh, maybe it was. Maybe I looked in the wrong... Maybe I was looking at the wrong... Oh, there you go. That was... I'm thinking, oh, no, that's just the map. It was. Very good. So, these are the various pickers that we require. And I noticed we had hazelnut trees over there. So, let's just... buy one of those because we'll use it later on. Yeah, I was cold today and the traffic can all queue up behind me while we just jump back and see if that spawned where... Yes, it did spawn where I hoped it would spawn. Around the back. No, around the front. There we go. Stuff spawns and the lot out on this side. So we'll come back and check that out after. Yeah. Who knows? Just the way they've done it, maybe, Mark. Like you, I can't think of a good reason because all the trees look the same. G'day, Peter. Ah, grapes are good fun. I don't know if we'll get to them today. We're aiming for them on the Tuesday stream, but it'll be a few more weeks away yet because we decided to put olives in first. Now, I'm trying to remember the road up. I think I'm going to have to look at the map. It's, yeah, we can do a U-turn here or we can take the next one up to the farm. We have purchased some land. I'll revisit the map in just a sec. But we've bought this property up here on the hillside, which is quite steep. Because you wouldn't want to be towing much up there. Pool looks pretty good. And this is our yard in front of us just here. I really like the way this is done. It's just different. And we have some pigs in our yard. I'll stop you there. So the building comes with some pigs in it. We don't have any feed or anything for them, so we'll have to sort that out at some stage through the day. And this is the rest of our equipment sitting in here. G'day, Jason. So nice tight little yard with some storage and the sort of clutter you'd see around the place. So coming back to the map, because a few folks have come in since I opened up. So that's the mini map, and I invested $1 million of the $1.5 million we started with in this farm where we are here. And these fields down here. So that was kind of my rationale, and it was interesting that $1 million bought that much of the map. As you can see, they're fairly small fields. There's a couple of big ones. These ones here are at 7 hectares. We've got one in the middle there, 43, which is about just under 7 hectares. So they're not tiny fields, and you wouldn't want particularly big equipment here. Back to your question, Peter, to do grapes, you need to put grapes in the ground. Where are we here? Production, orchards. You need to plant some vines, which we can't do at this time of the year, but plant some vines. You do it. There's a couple of steps to mulch and cultivate them. Then you harvest, prune, mulch, cultivate, fertilize, harvest, and then prune and repeat the cycle. So I like grapes. I find them good. I enjoy them more than olives, to be honest. What difficulty are we on? We are on normal difficulty at present. I figured that was enough for the purposes of what we were doing here. We can always adjust it. Let's see here. I haven't actually looked at the settings. Let's try looking at the right ones. Seasons are on, crop destruction on, ploughing. I've left stones for the moment. Fill limits I usually have on. Fuel usage is normal. We don't want workers spending our money. Maintenance costs I usually bump down. Let's save all of that. G'day, Bruce. Welcome along. So, with that sort of summarised, unless there are particular questions, which I'm more than happy to take, let's have a look at our crops. I think we've got 2 fields. We do. Field 30. We've got 3. Field 3 and 35. What's in 3? Was 3 one of ours? Did I buy that? No, I did not. So field 30 I did though. So let's see if we can navigate down the hill with our harvester and knock that field out, so to speak. We'll be adventurous and attempt to navigate down there with the header on the back. Now, whoa, almost dropped it over the edge. Which one's which? That road goes off the edge of the map, so we do actually want to go down there, assuming we can navigate the hairpin at the bottom. That's a big assumption. You only live once. Oh man, that's tight. Okay. Let's bring the header down separately. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I spent bits of mine watching Formula One, and I did enjoy last week of the Tour de France, I must say. This is not an ideal road for a harvester. And I can't imagine you'll be using AI to navigate the harvester down the hill there. I think I'd be parking my harvester at a shed down the bottom here somewhere. The subs are looking wonderful, Mark. The FSG's audience were particularly kind, so we've picked up about 100 folks as a result of that referral, which was really nice. So a bit speechless, to be honest. It was quite unexpected, and thank you for the part that you played in tipping him off. Now, let's just jump in there. Well, actually, we will jump in there. Let's get rid of this fork. Yeah! But it's getting closer. I probably want the front end loader on there, actually. Let's go. Just take that off. I thought it was good to see the McLaren perform well again on quite a different track to Silverstone. I think Mercedes are making progress even if they don't completely understand it. So, all in all, the fields, it was an expensive weekend for some of the teams, one team in particular. Ricardo, after such a good step out in qualifying, will be ruining the first corner incident, but at least he's been around long enough to know that they happen, and the team actually gave him a half a shot by pitting him when they did. Let's see here. Just as easy. Put you on the side. One of my first impressions on here is that I think as much as I like having the traffic on, it'd be the sort of thing I would turn off and on fairly frequently, because there is quite a lot of traffic, as you can see, which is not unreasonable. It's just you're trying to do anything, could get in the way a bit. I've had a couple of situations where I've just been about to start moving something and this situation occurs, you know, cars magically appear in front of you. That's a bit better. Let's get out of there. This field shouldn't take too long. Yes. Yeah. And once more and it'll be a trend, John, I think. A couple of things just that occurred to me during the course of the week, spending a little bit more time on Court Farms. I made a mistake before last week's stream. I should have put the mud mod on, because if any of you are watching Virtual Farmers series, new series you started there, Court Farms has the prerequisites for the mud mod built into the map, so they're actually bogs by some of the gates and things, which, if that's sort of the level of realism you're looking for, is kind of neat to see. And because I didn't really manage to get my frustration past the gate or gates, we didn't discover that. So that would make for some interesting gameplay if you're that way inclined. Although there are a couple of situations that I have seen on the map where I think, having done that, the first thing I'd be doing is grabbing the corduroy log bridge mod and dropping a couple of corduroy bridges over the entrance to some of the fields. Yes. You know, at least mud you can do something about, because you can bridge it. The gates were a lot more challenging to get around. And even though I only did a simple adjustment to the gates in the shop, I did figure out afterwards that they were all of those gates, which appear to be hinged on most of the placeables so that they open out. You could just switch them around without doing them, just changing the rotation angle to have them open completely into the properties that they're on, and that would sort most of those gates out once and for all, because where they're positioned in the fences, there's generally enough room on the inside to swing them. So I'm liking the funky little field shapes that are going on here. I can imagine a couple of little storylines. If you started out a basic start from scratch, you could kind of buy this plot here, base yourself in that building there, and cut this field into two to get you a couple of different crops going. It'd be a nice little start from scratch. And this field from memory wasn't very expensive. Yeah, 62,000. So because you can buy the verges and get lots of these, well, bits of treed area for free if you want. You shouldn't need WinRAR. I don't use WinRAR. I used to, because it can be a bit difficult to get rid of once you've had it. But Windows out of the box these days comes with the ability to zip and unzip. So what do you know where in the process you're getting stuck, John? Or are you just getting confused about the steps? It's one of those things. It looks really easy when someone does it fast, but if it's not familiar to you, no worries. We can talk through it tomorrow if I see you. If not, next time you're on. Thanks for watching. The neat thing about the YouTube clips is I don't mind if you watch them a heap of times. That works as well. Right you are. So, yeah. Have a lovely lunch indeed. So we're going to need something to dump this into. Stream or the vid, whichever's easy for you. The advantage of the video is that it's only 11 minutes long, and therefore it's not hard to stop and start and rewind. Am I running precision farming on here? I think I am. Yes, but I haven't done the soil testing. We could do that. Just purchase soil information. What's the map look like? So that looked like it was all loam, was it? Yeah. Not a bad field. And some trees that we could pull out if we wanted to get rid of them. The two mods that the map requires you to download to use it are the More Trees mod and that trailer that I had just a little earlier. Apart from that, everything else is built into the map. It's quite a big download, and the link that's in the description will take you to share mods, and I strongly recommend, I think Bumping Guy mentions it's in his video tour, but I strongly recommend you use malware tool and or ad blocker before you download it. It's just unfortunate. There's nothing, doesn't look to be anything wrong with the page for the folks that made the map. It's the site is just nasty. And it took me about 15 or 20 minutes to clean up after inadvertently downloading it without the appropriate protection running. Finding a PF surprise bug where I'm discovering seed rates when I do contracts equals soil types. I haven't noticed, actually, in terms of doing contra. I haven't paid that much attention. By the time we can have a look on Friday, actually, because we're doing some sowing contracts on the oaks. Yeah, that much I knew, Mark. You tipped me to that when we bought Field 31 on the Oaks a few weeks back. I haven't bothered to do it here because it sort of seemed a bit inconsistent with the idea of getting around the map a little bit. But this is coming along nicely. The yield's not good, but it gets something in the door. And if we want to get our own... And whilst I'm not looking for them, if you are the sort of person that enjoys collectibles, they put a lovely green glow on the collectibles here, and so there'll be one right there, the map segment. I'm not on it. There it is. Another 10,000. It's better than harvesting the field. We should go and do that. I must be just about full here, am I? Not quite. We'll get round to the road, sort this section out. When we get round to the roadside, I'll run up and grab something to put the crop in. First impressions, this map's got a really nice feel to it. And I would have thought, I don't know if Gaming Joy will catch up or will see any of this stream, but Gaming Joy and Rusty Money Gaming, one of their challenges that they talk about is Farmer Intended Challenge. Mapmaker Intended Challenge, and there's a few rules which I can't remember, but looking at this map, I reckon it'd be a terrific place to start. One of the rules is you've got to run for at least a year with the starting equipment, and the idea is you work the farm you're given in the way you imagine the map maker would intend, so you can't go deleting stuff and generally tearing the place apart. And my first little trip around this map, I think that would work really well. So can I put the... I wanted to use that for the nuts. Let's use... Where's this Fent parked? Yeah, we're in the correct farm. Let's put... Have you got a 3-point link on the front there? You do. Ah. Aha. Sneaky gates. They do work properly. How about that? I haven't seen that before. Can I knock that weight back to where I want it? Forget it. Too hard. We'll just hope we've got enough weight in the front. Oh, actually, maybe I should use the John Deere on the... Didn't see that there. Let's put him on. This'll do fine. I could easily see myself getting in a mess in that yard there. Whoop. So what we might do in a sec, well, empty the harvester, because I do want to get that field, that crop off. And if we go and have a look at contracts, what do we got? Baling, cultivating, big cultivating contract. That strikes me as a large piece of equipment for this map. Let's borrow that. There are lots of fields, so there are lots of contracts. Yeah, that'd be no fun at all. That's a better size. Let's borrow those. Oh, these, so I think what you're talking about. Can I get them on there? They don't come up there. Do I have to turn a setting on to get them, or do they only appear on this map? Actually, I don't think I'm going to have them because I've got the old version. Yeah, I have. Because I just took a contract on field 13. So what Jason's talking about is it puts a an icon in the field for the contract type, the new version. One thing I did notice though, and the reason I haven't upgraded this to the new or the latest version of Better Contracts, only when details are showing. We'll find out how long ago it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm still on the old version. So the reason I didn't is whichever map I applied it to might have been Oaks. I discovered that contracts were disappearing really fast again. So I don't know if Giants changed something or Better Contracts changed something, but what I have noticed is this version, which is one back, doesn't have the feature you're talking about. The contracts hang around for a lot longer. So I figured I'll just wait until that gets sorted. Now let's go to the shop. Here we go. Now you. This will allow us to drive to a different part of the map. Managed to get some reasonable equipment in the yard here. You wouldn't want too many. A big baling contract would be potentially the challenge. This yard would get full pretty fast. Now we're going to field 13 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we are. And to get there is pretty easy, just up and left. We can have a look at the tailor's shop on the way, assuming we can get out the gate. Not too bad, not too bad. So big so that we'll get the field done in a reasonable amount of time, but it's not feeling like it's impossible to get there. Might have been a bit more of a challenge if we were heading over here somewhere to these big fields. On this side of the map might have been a bit more tricky to get to with the hills and everything, but this is feeling okay. I should really get that harvester going again, shouldn't I? We'll get this guy started off. What stop sign? I'm bigger than everybody here. Oop. So, is this where I want to be? Not quite. Next left. Next road left, as distinct from farm track. Looks like a sell point mill of some sort. That going to be that road? I reckon it might. The next one. This one. At least the gate posts are wide, give you a chance. That's where we're going, I think. Let's see how course play goes with this field. So, 14 meters. Let's do 2. Start on the headland. Sharp corners. Circle. Field margin will leave. Generate the course, see how much trouble you get into Let's try field center up and down. Up and down will be fine. Let's try again with longest edge. Let's see. Thinking about it. Are you thinking about it? Don't know what you're doing. Thinking about something. Lots of very squiggly lines in that mini map. But why do I feel like we're not got anything happening here? Can't get back. I have lost control. Yeah, I thought that before I hit the button, but now that I've hit the button, I would appear to be stuck. Let's just try getting out and see if when I wake it up. Yeah, there we go. What has it done in the middle of that field? I think simple bypass is definitely a better choice. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Now, let's try simple. Oh, actually, or no bypass maybe. Let's try simple. It looks like it might be a drainage ditch. I haven't been over that side of the field. We'll go over and have a look in a second if I can get it started. It certainly looks like Courseplay is having a conniption. Let's jump out of there. Now try again. Right. That's a better course. I can imagine it getting into trouble, so but we don't care. Let's see how he goes. So I think what part of the problem is are these funny little insets here. And like the dovecot. Just nice little touches though. Is that actually a... We don't own it, so we don't know, but... We'll see how he goes. I'm just looking to see if I can deduce what was in the field. It's just the boundary. There's every chance, if you're not careful, you could end up doing something different to what you intend. Yeah, he's already ended up in the next field. Oh no, 14. Oh, I see. That's what the problem is. It's actually joined 13, 14 and 16 together. Yep, good call, Mustard Seed. You are on the money. Okay, at least the field that we've picked up here isn't causing us a problem. But that's why we play test these maps, to learn these little things. So let's just stop you. Let's come out and go back one step. And we'll just jump out of here. We'll draw custom fields. Now we'll find out how accurate the mini map is. I would normally take a little more time and care with my custom field creation. But for the purposes of today's stream, I think that'll do the trick. Yes. So now when we jump back in here, kill you. Now do that. Field position. That looks a bit better. Now let's see what happens. So that's why it got tangled up in the calculation, and it's still a complex field shape, but it should come back with a slightly better outline. I have this issue sometimes on the oaks, so I think this is a courseplay thing rather than a map thing. Oh, there we go. That looks far more okay, except for the bit where he tries to drive through the trees, but we'll worry about that afterwards. First waypoint. Unless he's going to go and do that first. We'll leave him for a minute while we go back and do some more harvesting. And what I want to do here is put my header down. Go and finish this little bit here, just a couple of up and downs. And we'll be good. If you're interested in the horse aggravation DLC, suggest you have a look at, well, there's plenty of content around, but either FSG or Argsy's content. I do not have the seasons pass at this point, and I'm not currently intending to get it. I am contemplating the premium edition version that comes with the seasons pass wrapped up in it, but I'll make that decision when I get back from my holiday in a little while. Right you are. Did want to get all this crop off before I rolled the clock forward, but I think we're going to have to just suck it up because I want to see how those nuts work shortly. We'll give it a little bit longer to get off the other. We'll get most of it off, I think. Farmer Ed. It's perfectly okay for you to choose employment rather than watching my streams. I'm never cease to be amazed by the number of people that manage to mix the two together. So it's great to see you. I'm sure everyone, you know, some of the folks that are in, no doubt. Are you still auto driving? If so, the makers of this map could probably use your skills, because this one's a nice tight one with lots of interesting auto drive opportunities, given their AI splines incomplete. But it is a lovely map. Quite interesting. That feels and that's fair enough. I mean, the ones that you have produced, I'm still using the one that you made for the Oaks. I fully appreciate the amount of time that goes into getting those courses right, so also you made extensive use of the one you used for, or you produced for Middleburg, so what I think would be kind of neat is if Giants built the core of the auto drive functionality into the Giants engine, so that then the process that a map maker goes through to put the spline on the map automatically gives you 90% of the auto drive course. That would make much more sense, so that you didn't have to have so many of the community doing all this duplicated work. And it wouldn't take much change. The spline definitions just need to be slightly more sophisticated, and it would all work a treat. But we can dream. so what I'm going to do here is pop you. Why are you not? I give up. Why was the header not? There we go. Something strange happening there. Which way do I want to go? I reckon. Oh, that's right. I mean, if they just made the waypoint placement and definition just a little bit more generic, it would be really easy to extend, because as it turns out, as I showed before on here, where do we go? If I turn it on, so you can see they have put some vehicle splines in, but none of them connect, and they've got some odd loops. And so consequently, you've got to basically sort it all out to make a working automation system, which is, it's just work. But if it had just been easier for the map maker, it'd all be done. Right, we want this guy to get off here. No, I don't want you on there. I want you just to drive forward. Thank you. Let's go and we'll take you down and pick up the, I'm pretty sure it's a front loader mount on that harvester for the nuts. I do like seeing all of the custom buildings. It makes a huge difference to the feel of the map. It was the same on Court Farms in that respect. And to your suggestion, Jason, I did have a look at Yarra Valley. So for those that aren't aware, I think it's a front loader mount. It is a front loader mount. There's a map on Mod Hub called Yarra Valley, which is modeled after a region about an hour's drive from where I'm sitting here. So just on the outskirts of Melbourne. It's a lovely part of the world. Heaps of vineyards and gourmet food places, and where am I going? I want to be going back down there, don't I? Restaurants. It's gotten pretty touristy because it's close to Melbourne these days. So it was nice to see the map, although I was a bit torn. So I think, and I don't know, so I don't know the folks that made the map, and hats off to anyone that puts the time in to make a map and get it out. But I think what it highlights is the challenge that in particular Australian map makers face, because there's, relative to the rest of the world, a tiny community playing farm sim, and as a consequence, when you come to build a map, not only is the terrain different, but the buildings are different. And when you pick a spot like the Yarra Valley, map makers had a go at making a couple of custom buildings, which, you know, the Weiner itself as an example, that is a hazelnut tree, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll leave you there for the minute. We'll come back and do that shortly. A lot of the buildings on the map are a smattering of sort of general farm sim assets and they just don't look right, which I found. Oh, that's the ute that I have hidden somewhere. Okay. They just don't look right. Let's go and empty some more crop out. Which is just a little bit of a shame. We can, I've got it here, so what we can do in a minute is exit out of here. So what we might do, let's just see how that cultivator's, he's got stuck on a tree, so he's almost done a headland-ish. Let's roll the day forward. So we get into harvesting time. Oh, okay, so I did have somewhere to dump crop, did I? Is attic going to be a silo? It's just... I didn't notice up here. Do I have a silo? Let's turn some zone markers on. So they're all the feed points for the pigs. Is there... Oh, I do have a silo. Okay, cool. Good-o. So we've got somewhere to put the grain that we were cutting. No, I think attic is probably the silo, actually. Oh no. Cereal farm is the silo, is it? Where is the green glow? Oh, that green glow's not anything unless there is one in there. There could be one in there. Let's have a look. No, that's just the colour they've gone for all the triggers, but they have labelled all the triggers for everything in here, so it's a cool pig shed, so to speak. There's a green glow over here though, which is one of those. Let's have a look how many there are. Well, we're here. Where's that? Shows on there. Collectibles, 25, and we've got 4 of them already, which wasn't hard given I haven't been looking for any. So, what I was looking for is, even though I've bought this farm, I don't have a sleep trigger, do I? Do I have a sleep trigger anywhere on the house, on the map? Nope. So I need to put one down. Don't think I've got it turned off. Loading stations, contracts. That wouldn't help. Right. Is there anywhere up here I can put one down? I've never tried to roll. Is it possible to roll a day without a sleep trigger? Because I probably don't have one loaded on here. Is that one car? Yes, it does. That'll do. No worries, Ed. Thanks for dropping by. See you next time. So let's go to there. Was it September that I needed? Ready to harvest? Not quite. Or are they? Ah, alfalfa's ready to harvest. Right, next month. Right, so let's duck down here. Now if we come down, we should find... Well, that's not looking promising. Are any of our trees ready to harvest? Huh. I've only got one. It should be this season. Why are my hazelnut trees not showing as ready to harvest? Let's go forward a couple hours. Does it tell me? Let's go and have a look. Crops. Have they put any information in? And they have not. What about if I try and plant them? Does it tell me anything? Production, orchards. Other than the fact that there's a missing XML reference. No, so one would imagine that they're all the same in that respect. But I certainly don't have any nuts on there. Let's put you down. What are the actual instructions here? Turn on harvester. So the harvester works, but no nuts. Nuts to you, my friend. Huh. So maybe you can't get them in your first season. That's a bit bizarre. Given the trees are there and they look like old growth, but that's how it is. So let's, before we run out of light completely, the other thing we'll just duck down and do is have a look. That's the barge. And if we head down to the dock, There's the train on the other side. Looks decidedly appropriate. You can call. And the barge is really slow. I won't call it, but this is just a custom silo for low. Oops, you can't climb up that ladder. For loading the barge. Can we see him down there? He's a fair way off in the distance. This pretty cool loading yard. That's just an object for looking at. But it operates just like any other silo. You can use it as storage too by the looks. I see a glow. You can just make it out right down there in the center. Wandering towards us. Can't put anything in the containers. Over there. No objects have been hidden. Okay. So object hider works if that's your thing. And there's the barge coming there. In the gloaming. Just because it's late in the day. Well, we can walk on water out to it. I suspect we can't get onto it. No, we can get in it. There is a driver. Well, there you go. Pretty cool. So that's CastleNaud. CastleNaud, I should say. Pretty cool. I like the feel of that quite a bit. Lots of scope to do many fun different things, a range of different field sizes. So we might leave that there for a minute. I don't want to save there. No, I'll quit out of there. And let's see. Give me a second to try and figure out where I put it. MDM, no. My naming convention, I might lose here. River's cleaner than the Yarra. Well, the part of the Yarra that runs through town's not real flash. I've done plenty of canoeing up closer to the Yarra Glen, up closer to Yarra Glen, which is where we're heading here. Let's see here. Let's set you as active. Launch. Now, can we... So have I got anywhere to start a game? That's going to be my next problem. Game 7, sack slot, we don't want to do. I don't want to throw away the game I was just using. Let's do that one. There is one right at the end. Let's go on new farmer. What did I do with it? Ooh. Okay, that didn't work. Where have I put it? Now I've got to find it. Valley Freight. Did I not? Map testing. I put it in there. No. Okay, let's do this the other way then. Sorry about that, folks. I thought I know I've got it somewhere. It's just I can't find it. So we will do this a different way. And we'll actually grab it. There it is. Do we need to read anything about that? I'll leave that up there for people to look at if they want to go back and check it out. But he's put a couple of extra little products in and a few fields and a couple, as I said, a couple of custom buildings. Let's just download Gradoo's map. Which shouldn't take too long, I hope. Famous last words. There's no one in the house streaming anything other than me, so we will have it in a minute. If I could just remember what directory I actually put it in, that would be a good start. Halfway. We'll be there in a second. Crunch. The picture which represents the map is fairly no, well, it's not mine. It's what I was hoping for was a map to do this, and the place I was aiming for is almost the adjoining district, which is called Dixon's Creek. It's just a sort of a suburb off to the side. But this reminds me of how much work is involved trying to do this. Right, we want to go there, try there. Let's go all the way to the end. Start on new farmer. And that's a pretty accurate depiction of the landscape, to be honest. Allowing for the artistic license taken, but that's the valley does look a bit like that. Let's start you off. Shouldn't take too long to get in. I reckon you might have, only because this is close to me, and I'm pretty sure Jason was talking about central western New South Wales. And apart from that building, so what's accurate about this is lots of the wineries in this area have something artistic like this, depending on how successful a winery is as to how big it is, and then they have a shed at the back where you actually go and do the business. So that aspect of this is really done nicely. And if you look at the mini map, yep, press the right button. Gradoo's put a few fields on, enough to get you started. Got some grapes in purple. What else has he got here? What's for? There's soy. Okay, so a few sunflowers. So he's got a few grapes, a few crops spread around. We'll go and have a look at the golf course down here in the corner. There's that train. So Healesville's off to the right, off to the east of the map, and there's a sawmill. Another train silo spot to rent it. Your house. You have a restaurant, a great processing facility, a grain elevator, a biogas plant, and then there's a little town over here. So if we jump in the ute, I'm not sure on the way out. Looks like it's behind me here somewhere. I've been playing in Europe too long. You can see some of the road splines just dip into the road a little bit. It reminded me a little, I don't want this to come across as unfair, but as someone who was doing this for his friends and just wanted to get the map out so they could play on it. So I've certainly seen a lot worse. There's lots of good things about it. You know, a bridge like this is quite typical for this area. Well, that's the thing, Jason. At driving around, it's on its way to being there, but it's let down by the lack of assets that the map maker could choose, and so he's then limited to whatever he's got the time, he or she has the time to produce themselves, and they produce some good things. It's not like there's none, but it just goes to remind you how much more you need. Which way am I facing here? 12. Yeah, let's go up to the north. You know, he's got traffic driving on the correct side of the road. So that's all good. You know, where he has been able to dress it, it's neatly done. The road's, yeah, not too bad. Looks pretty local. Armco. Yeah, I've given it a little bit of thought and stopped short of actually trying it. I think part of the problem is the more authentic you make them look, the more they look like oak trees that you wouldn't want to be cutting down. And so then this is the village, and this is where it gets hard, because the assets that he's got, just, you get away with the petrol station, but you know, the French Jardine and the dealer doesn't quite sort of, don't know where he got sign up from. Yes. you know, here at the race course, this is the classic example. This was the point where I kind of thought, oh, I can't use this as the basis for a stream. So the race course is good. It's done a nice job with the race course itself. It's just the grandstand from the baseball doesn't kind of work. But he's got a, you know, mounting yard, and you can see where he's going with it. I think this is the animal dealers down here, if I'm not mistaken. I did say golf course, Mark. Just hang on, we'll shoot over there. I've just got to remember how to get there. It's down the bottom of the map. Because I think the contracts... Oh no, that was wrong. I thought there was contracts to do on the golf course. Maybe I'm mistaken. Let's just get back up to the road. Oh, really? Put collisions on the fences? Come on. There was an article on the news tonight, half advertising RAM and half complaining about all of these imported American trucks that don't fit in the car parks and on the roads. Could have put a square around the winner's circle. That would have been appropriate for country Victoria. Now, I haven't spotted the dead centre yet. Where am I trying to go? I want to go across the bridge, left at field 9. Sorry, right at field 9. Cops would be all over you on the Yarra Valley Highway overtaking like that, but it's a fairly well policed stretch of road. So here's the golf club. I'm sure I've seen that asset before, but I don't know where it is, where it's from. So there you go, there's your golf course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're all there. And then only he's got people walking on the fairways. It's fairly heavily trafficked. I thought he'd done a really nice job of the bunkers, actually. Mind you, they look a bit like British Open style bunkers. So there you go. So that's the golf course. Somewhere around here there's a building. I recall that we had a trailer in. Maybe it's over beside the clubhouse. Yeah, they reminded me a little bit of the stories that Dad told. So you start off with a whole bunch of equipment for upkeep of the golf course, as you can see. What do we actually own here? Yeah, so you start out by owning the golf course, so you can use that, and you own the winery by the looks, without any of the vineyards. So you've got plenty of grass you can mow to make money, and then you work out from there. What's that work out? 800,000 for that bit. $500,000 for that. Pretty cheap for real estate in this part of the world. But yes, it does look a little bit like a, well, it just needs a mow, right? So the guy that's been commissioned here to look after it hasn't been out for a while. Let's have a look. Sure, we can. Probably should do this before the first group's off the tee, but it's a busy part of the world. It would be better if I swathed it, I think. So there you go. The fairways look much better once you've got a cut on them. Can't control the height much. In fact, there's every chance that the fairway is now going to look better than the green. But you can do a nice little storyline, get yourself set up. Oop. Before we know it, we'll have it shapeshift. And that is a big assumption, but given the attention to detail on a few of the other things, it might be. Let's have a look in just a sec. I'll do one more stripe. No collisions on the tee boxes, so that's good. I'm not a golfer, so I don't know if they have a clever name for those. I'm sure they do. They have names for everything else. Rightio. Let's have a look at the crop calendar. Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look at the crop calendar. What do we got here? It is indeed harvest in December, January, February. Grapes in March, April. So he's done a good job with the crop calendar. Pricing. Range of sell points, especially for grapes. What's the best price for wheat? I don't have your tool on here, Mark. $12.23 by looks. In July, of course, yes. So that's what, so I guess all in all, there's the bones here of a map that you could have a bit of fun with if your imagination took you to it. I just found driving around that there were just a few things that grated on me only because I know this area so well. And as I say, the long range view is actually pretty good, but the trees and the buildings look a bit wrong. Yeah, I think it's well on the way to being there. And as we saw driving around, I mean, it's not fundamentally broken. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look here at, actually, we have got a harvest contract. Let's borrow the equipment. Oh, I've even got a grape harvester somewhere that you start with on New Farmer, so that works. Wasn't expecting that. There's my ute. Got a little, so you start with heaps of gear. Heaps and heaps of gear. Well, that's the thing, right? To me, it just felt, given the work that he'd done on some of the custom buildings, it just felt like he was looking for the encouragement, or he needed to get it out so that he could play with his friends, or, you know, some motivation that caused him to release it when it was still not finished. Because things like the signage on the dealership here, well, that's not ridiculously difficult to change, given all the other things that he's produced. That's yeah, I agree, Jason. Where am I trying to go here? Pop you on the trailer the wrong way. It is a very good effort, especially if it's his first map. As I say, I'm not familiar with the mod Agridu, so I don't know. Yeah, it's actually not. If you just drop the textures into paint, you can position stuff over the top of it pretty easily. Some buildings are easier than others because there's a lot on that building, but you'll find in the texture file where that and that actually are, and you can then just plonk a sign over on the top, because that's how I did the billboards on for the dealership that I built on Silver Run Forest. And given, I mean, he's clearly got some skills given the winery he built and a couple of the other custom buildings that are on here. So my view was that it was time rather than lack of skill that was the challenge. Look, donuts. Or maybe not, maybe just a bakery. Now, we were going to field 12. Where was field 12? 12. Where are we? We are coming down there over the bridge. Those little Citroens would last about 5 minutes bumping over the roads out here. It does look a bit like the Yarra, which I suspect is someone's intention. It doesn't look anything like the Yarra in that part of the world, but looks like the Yarra in town. Yeah, well, I'd be driving into Healesville for a bakery. Actually, the distillery, there's a couple of distilleries in this area now that do big business. Four Pillars has got a roaring trade going. Now, where was 12? Am I there yet? Yeah, I am. It's just here on my right. Got to get through the gate. That could be a challenge. Come on. Oh, no collision on that one. Thank you. Got his puddly roads there. They look good. I wonder if they flood in the when it rains. There's every chance. And there we go. Everything works. Whoever thought I could be harvesting in the Yarra Valley and still make it home for lunch? There are a lot worse ways to spend a day than at a restaurant in this part of the world, so if you ever get the chance, no worries. I'm going to call it there, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll be back in about 9.5 hours on Newlands. We've got canola and wheat to harvest, pigs to feed, land to buy. It's all happening. But until then, stay safe, have fun everyone, and thanks again for watching. See ya.